up? This is Nexus HD here, and today is part 4, the long-awaited part 4 of Halo 4, how to build my UNSC frigate. We start off from where we left off in episode 3, and in about 1 minute's time, the playlist will come up at the bottom of the screen for you to click, and you can watch all 3 videos. I started off by sort of going around the ship, checking if there's anything. I needed to complete the back part there, and now I've gone to the right hand wing. Now I basically do exactly the same as the first one, so I put the struts at either end and make sure they're in the correct places, and then I'll basically duplicate them along so I know that they're in exactly the same place, and I use the magnets here to put them together. And then I just go and duplicate the bridges from the other side, and I think it was about a 30-degree angle that I put them on, and then I put them just on the edge there. And then also I use the edit coordinates to put them together, because that helps a lot with this, especially edit coordinates, because it's sometimes when you have two things next to each other, if you literally click on edit coordinates, it puts them next to each other straight away. So that's both wings done, and I wanted to go to the front. I had 2 struts here because it does make it look a lot more sort of ramped and not just blocks on top of another block, so I wanted to make it ramped there, and I continue with that later on. Now I go to the back here, and I had these on the floor, so I thought, why have them on the floor when I can have them on the ceiling as well, because they're actually great roof pieces to use, because they sort of act as a mini wall as well if you got any gaps between the ceiling and your walls. And then plus they're pretty damn big, and you know they're at least 3/4 of the size of a 5x5 block, and plus you're not wasting that money on the block in the first place. Now I wasn't quite sure what to put here because I didn't want to waste any blocks, so I put some covers. These are found in the structure, I think, and these are just covers. I think there's the central cover and the double cover, but these are just the covers. I had them along, and I think, right, this is it was a bit difficult with edit coordinates, and I noticed they were quite oddly spaced. They weren't evenly spaced. So I decided to turn the magnets on and add them together like that. And I turned it on and they were fine. Well, I thought, right, I'll turn them off and I'll add magnets on, but I'll just add something else in the middle. So I did that, and there was an even gap, and I put basically a cover in the middle to make it more even. I didn't know what to put in that middle bit. I was searching through several stuff, and I thought, right, I'll put a landing pad there. They were the biggest, it was the least expensive, and it fit into the place quite nicely with only a few little gaps. That space in particular, there was no other things that could fit the entire gap, so I just used the covers like I did from last time, used the edit coordinates to put them in exactly the same space, and just put those at the side so there'd be no gaps when you were like physically inside, and there'd be no light coming in. So now I'll go inside. This is the main middle bit, and this is where sort of like my computer room would be, where I'd put all my Dominion stuff. You can have a lot of Dominion objects. I think you can have 200, and that includes all the lights that I've got, all the little boxes and ammo crates, and all the wires, and all those different things. But I just start putting them around the map. Now, I don't know if this was because of the sunlight in the map and I hadn't gone to player mode to generate the lighting. Oh, excuse me. But it seems that they actually nearly worked like lights. If you actually look at them, when you put them on Forge World, like in somewhere that's dark, they look like they actually work and are lights. Now, if you actually do look at them in other maps, they're not lights at all, they're just there for show. But I continue into the middle area, and this is what I do. You can have tons of these things, and plus I think they're only $25 or $50 to use, so you can have loads, and literally this is just my own design, putting stuff in the middle. Once I've completed this series, if you go onto my gamer tag, Nexus NX, and go on Halo 4 file browser, you'll be able to find this map, and you'll be able to find 2 versions. You'll be able to find the plain version, which doesn't have any of the computers in, and then you'll be able to find my version, which I put all the computers in and weapons and whatnot that I wanted inside. And I do add quite a lot. I added wires all the way around, so stuff connected to each other, and that'll be in my part 5. Because unfortunately I can't finish this in part 4, because if I did finish this, it would be probably nearly 20 minutes long, and that would be quite boring for people to watch. And plus, it takes so long to upload 20 minutes, so I decided to do it in 2 more parts. Anyway, I continue to just add several things, but then just be careful about the amount of things you add, because you don't have that many of like these. I think you only have 20 or 25, and I think you need to put them where you really want to put them, because these as well, the big ones and the small ones are in the same group. So it's a bit difficult to choose which ones you want. So if you don't want a big one but you want 2 small ones, you could just have a big one to save money, but then what if you don't want it? Also, I decided that I'd kind of make a wall with these. I used edit coordinates again, very useful, and basically did that. Now the trick with, I think, hooking these up, you have to play a Dominion game type and sort of set up a game type to hook them up. You can't just have them on in Forge, because of the physics and game physics, they just won't work. So I start to add these, and the annoying thing is I don't want a circle around them. So you actually, if you go into settings, you can go on to shape, and you can choose what shape you have on it or not at all. Just here, like in my old frigate I made on Halo Reach, I start to add the little bridge place. And now this is the clever bit here. This is how I add my control panel. If you put a turret in and very gently move a block that has physics that is not fixed or not normal, it goes through it, and it almost looks like the turret's built in. I go on to do that with 2 turrets and put some more things in, and then this is what it looks like. It looks cool from your perspective, and if you're doing a machinima or a video, it looks like someone's actually flying the spaceship, or at least keeping it under control. I moved these down a bit because I noticed they weren't in the right place, and they worked to my advantage. And then I start adding a few more bits around here, making it look more spaceship, and then move a few, I think they're ramps or bridges into place as well, as I noticed they weren't quite in place on the left hand side of the screen. But I start adding a few more bits, and these are quite good. I know in Dominion these do sort of expand and sort of turn into like antennas, but unfortunately in Forge you can't do that, because you'd need to play the game type to do it, and these do as well. But they're quite good decorative stuff that you can just put around the corners and make it look good. But just be wary. I had a problem when I was putting too much of this in and wasting my money. I did have enough money to complete the outside of the ship and complete the roof, but I didn't have any money to put any vehicles or weapons in. So if you want vehicles and weapons, don't spend too much money on your inside, because what I do, I sort of finish the inside and then do the outside. Right, thanks for watching. This bit at the end is important. If you want something, like someone said to make a Covenant ship, that's what I'm going to do in Series 3. I've already got some on Series 2 ready, which will be a UNSC space base. Thanks for watching.